Hello everyone and welcome back to Circus Tutorials. So this tutorial is actually being recorded in between other projects. I'm recording a bunch of stuff and helping out with the Spinsanity Hoop Convention, which happens up here every year in Michigan. This year it's the digital version, unfortunately. But I thought it'd be a perfect time because of that to teach a hoop tutorial on how to on-body hoop, as well as how to isolate the hoop in front of us. Something like this. A little bit of an egg-shaped hula hoop, so it doesn't look all that good, but either way, it's a super fun trick. Let's get started with the tutorial. So like with many things, having a good piece of equipment will help a lot when learning. I've heard a lot of people when learning how to hula hoop or relearning how to hula hoop, as the case usually is, say, oh, I used to be able to hula hoop when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I can't hula hoop anymore. Well, the main reason for that is because you're trying to hula hoop with hoops that are designed for kids. So if you look at this hula hoop, it comes up pretty high, almost to my belly button, waist area. If most hoops that you can get from a store will only come up to maybe your mid-thigh. They're really, really small and really light and hard to hula hoop with. But when you're super small and tiny, those hoops are giant for you. They come up to almost your ribs. And if you have a hula hoop that comes up to your ribs, that thing's super slow and easy. So make sure you get a good hula hoop. There are a lot of very good hoop makers. You can get really good quality hoops with a little bit of grip on the inside to make it even easier, and usually they're very inexpensive and you can get custom colors. So get a good hoop to work with, get one that's good size, and we are ready to begin. Now that we have our hoop, we're ready to start. So to get it going around on body, the easiest way that I found is with 1 foot forward, 1 foot kind of back, and you're going to be going in kind of a forward back kind of motion. Think pelvic thrust from Rocky Horror Picture Show, forward and back motion. And what's going to happen is as the hoop is in front of you, so here, I guess I should say the majority of the hoop's behind you, when it's touching in front of you, you're going to push your hips forward. As it comes around, you're then going to push your hips back, and that's how we're going to propel it and keep it going. You're going to have to figure out which direction you're more comfortable with, either pushing it to your left, which is the way that I like to do it, or pushing it to your right, where ideally you want to get the hang of doing both ways, to the right and to the left. Again, I'm more comfortable to the left, but I can keep it going a little bit to the right. Aside from just going forward and back, you can also go side to side. This is also an option. So whichever way that it's touching you, you're just gonna move that direction. So if it's touching on the left, you move your hip to the left or right and so on. So you can kind of get it going either forward and back or side to side, whichever is more comfortable to you. As an additional little thing, there's also a way that you can make it a lot easier. So if you rotate your body in the same direction the hoop is going, it will feel like it goes in slow motion. So again, I like going to the left. If I slowly turn in a circle to the left, it slows down the hoop, so it's making contact in an area for longer, and it slows it down. Which is a lot of times when you see hoop dancers and stuff, they'll spin around with the hoop. This is for two reasons. One, it makes it look more pretty and elegant, but also it makes the tricks a lot easier when you're spinning the same direction. If you spin the opposite direction, you can do it, but then it has the opposite effect where it feels like it all of a sudden goes really, really fast around you. Where if you go the same direction, it goes really, really slow. So play around with that. Try a little bit of both, going with the hoop and the opposite direction of the hoop, and just see what that feels like as a little trick to help get the hang of the hoop. So now it's time for the isolation. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this hoop is a little egg-shaped. It got a little deformed in my garage over the summer, but it's okay, it'll still work. It just won't look as good as if it was perfectly round. So the way the isolation is going to work is basically, if you can imagine, just holding it like a giant steering wheel at first and just moving along. 2 hands easiest, and we're just going to try to keep it in one place as much as possible. The 2-hand version, just like you're driving a big old truck, is the easiest, just to kind of get used to that motion of moving your hand along the profile of the hoop. Bam, just like that. After we start getting the hang of that, we're going to take one hand off and do the same thing. Now, rather than having the outside of the hula hoop, like with the 2-hand version, it's actually easier on the inside. And we're going to trace that hoop with our hands and try to keep it as much in one spot as possible. One thing that you can do to help make sure that you're getting a pretty good isolation is if you look at the hoop and something in the distance and try to keep it right on that point. So like behind the camera right now is my garage, and I can kind of line up this top of the hoop with the top of the garage so I can keep track and make sure that's kind of in a good spot. Smaller the hoop, the harder this is going to be to make it look really good, but it's really good for practice to make sure that you're getting a good isolation as well. Once we get the hang of that, to go all the way around, we can only kind of do like 2/3 of the hoop, give or take, because once you get here, you can't really easily get your hand up and over that like 1/3 of the hoop, give or take. So what we actually have to do here is let go, let the hoop roll over our hand, and then re-grab on. So we come around, get to that point, let go and turn our hand over. Kind of hard to do slowly, but that's going to be the motion. And then we get the hang of keeping it going. And then you also want to learn this both directions. So either going clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way you learn first. So I find the easiest with the right hand to go counterclockwise, and the left hand it would be clockwise. But also learning the other way as well. But from here, once you get to the top, you're gonna have to turn your hand over the other way and grab the side. A little bit of momentum to help, whoop, and around. I'm not the best at these, unfortunately. I don't spend a lot of time hula hooping, but it is a super fun trick, and there are some people out there that use little isolation hoops, and they just look awesome doing their thing. Figure of 8 hoops is also a great example of isolation hoops done to a extreme level. So check out some of those videos as well after you finish watching this one. And that's going to be the tutorial. Just a quick little thing to get you started hula hooping, keeping the hoop going on your body, as well as isolating it out in front of you to get you started moving and playing with the hoop. There are a ton of other great tricks that you can learn on body hoops, so that's where we're keeping it going on our body, on different parts as well, that we can go over in future videos, as well as moving it from spot to spot, as well as a whole bunch of really cool off-body tricks like chest rolls behind the back, all sorts of cool folds. Ton that you can do, but this was just a quick little thing to get you started with some basics. If you like the video, do all the YouTube things. We do appreciate it. Share your progress with us on the Facebook, and if you have any things you'd like to see in future videos, leave those down below. My name has been Chuck Clark, and this has been Circus Tutorials, and we'll see you in the next one.